Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy New Year's Eve, the final day of 2022, whether you liked it or not. Done. Whether you liked it or not, done. No more crying about it, right? My thought for you as we're turning over the year, I was talking a lot this past week about being optimistic, right? And specifically from the Kundalini tradition, the idea of a rising optimism, right? Charity Kala is the term that they give to it. And it's referencing that feeling that no matter what's going on, is you're able to find within yourself a feeling of uh, whatever is good in this moment, right? Or being able to keep yourself open to looking for that it's never a moment of saying, well, that was a disaster and that's all it was, right? It's not a place of closing down. It's a place of staying really open to trying to find that continuous rising energy, right? And so optimism doesn't mean that we're always in a state of positivity, right? Because that can become exhausting. We try to make that happen. But to have that little open space that says that whatever is happening right now, I can find the good that is occurring through it, right? I can find the good that's happening right here, and I can find the good that's happening through me, right? And so my thought as we go into the new year is that it's a time, right, when we tend to have that encouragement of trying to leave things behind, right? That's a lot in our minds of what am I leaving behind. But more importantly is what are you taking with you, right? Is that's really the more important thing? Or what are the threads of self? What are the threads of your life that you're taking with you? Because they are so good or they are so necessary. Even if they're still uncomfortable, is what you're taking with you, right? That imprint for the future, that imprint of where you're going next, that next step, right? Is that's what matters more than what we think we need to leave behind, right? Because this is what we call attachment when we start thinking too much about, oh, this is what I should get rid of, this is what I should be done with, this is what I should blah, 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 blah. It makes it that much harder to leave, right? When if you were just focused on what's good that's rising in this moment, whatever doesn't need to come with you just won't, because you're not clinging to it. Right? So this becomes our practice is, can you stay with that energy that is rising in this moment? What is good in this moment? What's moving through you that is good in this moment? And take that with you into whatever it is that you're desiring, whatever it is that you wish, whatever it is that you don't know how it's all going to be accomplished, but you're taking that next step, right? So the brilliance, I think, of moving into this year is not what am I leaving behind, but what am I still carrying, right? What am I still working with? What am I still working on? And jokingly, right, when you have a small child, as you see this a lot, is what is she working on? She's working on following directions and putting her toys away and, all of these things in the world. And I'm like, I'm working on that too, right? I'm still working on that. And can we joyfully have that smile for ourselves of the things that you're still working on and that you'll be working on forever, right? So there's nothing that no part of yourself that you have to leave behind as though it's dead, but you can stay with that energy that's continuing to evolve and move, that's alive. So do that this transition, right? Don't have that hard line that says 2022 to 2023 because it's just another day. It's only in our minds that we say there's something different about tomorrow than there is today. Same energy rising. So luxuriate in what you are still working on in this coming year, what you are still moving through in this coming year, what you're taking with you. Let the eyes close if they're not already. And be optimistic about it, whatever it is. There's an openness to whatever is present in my life that is so now, so immersive. Can I open myself to it, really receive it? Because there's really no such thing as being done. There's no such thing as being finished with this or finished with that, as we're just continuing to unfold. So take with you this feeling of rising optimism. There's good that's happening right here, right now. And look forward to those ongoing lessons in kindness and compassion. They're never going to end. And look forward to attempting to organize your life. You're never going to finish that. Look forward to trying to quell the craziness of your mind. You won't succeed. It's all right. Open to that bigness that is the you that's able to step in again and again and again. One more deep breath to acknowledge that whatever you think you're doing great. And exhale all the way out. And bring the hands together at the heart center, palm to palm. And as you bring the thumbs to the sternum, lift your sternum up towards the thumbs, widen the elbows, so you get that feeling of opening to the chest. Just for a moment, as you inhale, you feel the breath rise up, and as you exhale, the breath flows down. Where they meet, that middle place of the heart. It's neither rising nor falling, but it's always just everything. Up and down, right and left. It all comes to meet here. And so from here, let that sound of Om be that representation of whatever it is that you are bringing with you into the future, your whole self. Deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. And then go ahead and come forward onto hands and knees. Hands and knees. Begin to cat and cow, inhaling the chest forward, the tail back, exhaling, pulling and pounding. Funny thing, right? We think we make resolutions or we make these intentions or promises to ourselves, and we think that there's like an end place where we're going to say, yeah, I did it. Now I can move on to the next thing. All of the threads of your life, in order for them to be a tapestry, guess what? You can't do one thread at a time. They have to weave together. It's got a very fancy phone ring. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Neutral spine. Stretch your right arm forward. Take your left leg back. Good. Lift that leg up off the floor. Lift that arm up off the floor. Take your balance. Nice. Deep breath in. As you exhale, bend the elbow and the knee towards each other. Round your back. So squeeze everything in underneath the belly. Good. And then inhale. Extend all the way back out. Arm and leg. Good. Exhale. Squeeze in again. Elbow and knee come to meet. And then inhale, extend all the way out, lifting through the chest and pulling back through your tail. Then one more time, exhale, curl all the way in and round. And then inhale, extend all the way out. Beautiful. Pause for just a breath, get a little bit longer, chest up. Good. Then release back to hands and knees. Please circle your hips. Let the shoulders move. Good. And then come back to stillness, please. And take your left leg, what am I talking about? Right leg back, left arm forward. The other side. Good. Deep breath in, get long. And then exhale, bring the elbow and knee together underneath you, round your back. Good. And then inhale, extend all the way back out. Beautiful. Exhale, squeeze all the way back in. Good. And then inhale, extend back out. Nice. One more time. Exhale, squeeze everything in, round. And then inhale, extend out and pause. So stay there, right? Look for that extension. And then lift your heart just a little bit higher. Send your tail back a little bit more. Pull that low rib cage up and in. And then lift through the back of your throat. Beautiful. And then release back to hands and knees. Please circle your hips in the other direction from whatever you just did. Nice. And then bring yourself back to stillness, please. Good. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into downward facing dog. Got it. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Good. Inhale the arms to the sky, high lunge. Nice. Turn your palms forward, please. Hook your thumbs together and then bend your elbows wide. So you're pulling the thumbs up almost like you're trying to pull them apart as you widen the elbows, and then lift the chest a little higher, draw your throat back. And now draw those arms back, lift your sternum towards the sky, take your back bend, sending that front knee forward over the ankle. Beautiful. Now stretch your arms to straight, still hooking the thumbs together. Good. So just pull the arms to straight, pull your shoulders down, chest wide. Beautiful. And then still in that back bend, bend the elbows wide into cactus arms. See if your chest lifts just a little bit more. Beautiful. And then come all the way back up to center. Please stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Then exhale, come forward, torso parallels the floor. Pause. Draw that thigh back, kick your tail up and back. Nice. And then lift the back of your throat. Beautiful. Touch that left hand down to the floor, right arm to the sky, spinal twist. Nice. Take that right arm over your ear, reaching towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Push your left hip wide to the left. Rotate that rib cage, open the chest. Beautiful. And then release that hand down to the floor, please. Both hands inside the front foot. Walk to your left until you come to the center of your mat. Turn your toes. Cross or Urdhva Uttanasana. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Get a little lift through your low belly, curl, and then drop the head, drop the shoulders. Nice. Good, you guys. And then turn both feet out slightly, just a little bit, and then begin to bend your right knee, moving towards that side lunge just a little bit. So not a big one, just move to the right. And then come back towards center, and then move to the left. So just moving in between. Good. Then come back to center, move to the right again. Again, keeping this sensation of still lifting the tailbone up and back. Back to center, move to the left. Good. So the tendency, right, if we think about just bending the knee, keep moving back and forth between both sides. If we just think about bending the knee, we're going to push everything towards that side, and we're going to get stuck in the side crease, right? So instead of trying to push all the way to whatever side you're going, try to stay really open in the front of your thighs, moving from side to side, keeping the groins open, tail up and back. Good, nice, you guys. So the pelvis should stay pretty level here. And if that's not what's happening, try to make it happen. Good. And then come back to center, please. Turn your toes forward again. Walk your hands straight ahead towards that wide-legged downward facing dog. Nice. And again, send your tail up and back. So that might mean that you bend your knees just a little bit so that you can really exaggerate that feeling of getting your tail to sweep up towards the sky. So it's going to feel like you're arching your back. That's okay. Arch it a little bit. Take those groins way back. Take those inner thighs way back. Good. And then once you've done that, right, you've gotten that length, now you can lift through that low belly just a little bit to balance all of that action. Press into your hands, feel your chest lift, and pull those shoulder blades towards your hips. Excellent. Walk your hands back in, please. Take your hands to your hips, all the way up to stand. Turn those right toes forward. Bend the knee, come into warrior two. With that same attitude, right, of as you come into warrior two, don't send everything towards the front of your mat. Stretch the arms out wide, but have this feeling of your tailbone going straight down between the length of the legs. So straighten the right thigh again for a moment. Good. Stretch your arms straight up towards the sky. Get as tall as you can. Feel the inner thighs widen here with the legs straight and the shins pull forward. Good. Now keep that feeling of your spine being exactly where it is. Bend that right knee and let your groins, let your tail drop straight down. So you're not leaning forward. And then stretch the arms out wide. Like you're reaching in that equal kind of way, right and left, front and back. Right? Heart energy doesn't decide this way is the right way. Forward's the only way. Heart energy says I'm always looking in 360 degrees. Because here's the only place I exist. Good. One more deep breath, drop that groin, drop the tail straight down. And then cartwheel the hands back down to the floor, please. Nice job. Spin your back heel up, step forward, top of your mat. Lay both legs straight, forward fold. And then take your hands to the back of your ankles or calves. Bend your knees just a little bit so your weight moves forward towards the balls of your feet. Good. Shins move forward, hips move forward. If you're holding those calves, press into the actual muscle there and pull up. And then scoop into your belly, send your butt towards the sky, drop your head, hold in deep, almost like you're about to roll forward onto your head. Good. Send your butt up to straighten the legs. Nice. Beautiful, you guys. Release the hands, please. Roll up the spine one vertebra at a time, all the way up. Excellent. And then inhale the arms straight up towards the sky, softening the knees again so that you're not locking the knees back in just straight legs. Soften the knees, draw the tops of the thighs back. And then with the arms overhead, take the fingertips together. Good. And then lift up as tall as you can through your armpits. Take your back bend, touching fingertips or palms all the way together. Good. But draw the tops of the thighs back and then draw your ribs back the same way you drew the tops of your thighs back. Good. Come all the way back up to center, please. Nice job. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. Good. Right leg steps way back behind you, please. Take the arms back to the sky, high lunge, side. Good. Turn your palms forward, hook your thumbs again. And then bend your elbows wide. As the elbows bend wide, you're lifting the chest up higher and drawing the throat longer. So it's drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Good. As you lift your side weights. And then take that back bend any amount. Lift your heart up a little higher. Draw the elbows wide. Draw the arms back in space. Good. Front knee over the ankle. And now stretch your arms towards straight, but keep your thumbs hooked. So you're still pulling wide through the upper arms. Nice. And then come all the way, still in that back bend. Sorry, bend the elbows wide into cactus arms. Lift your chest even higher. Good. And now come all the way back up to straight. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Feel your waist get super long. Nice. And then come forward, torso parallels the floor. Good. Front knee is still over the front ankle, but now kick that back thigh towards the back wall. So you balance that weight. Right hand touches down, left arm to the sky, spinal twist. Nice. Everything is about how you hold yourself, not what you do, but how you hold yourself in front. Take that left arm over the ear, reaching towards the upper corner of that mat. Turn your left rib cage open, push your right hip wide. Good. Soften that right shoulder that's holding you. Don't treat it poorly. And then release that hand down to the floor. Both hands inside the front foot. Walk to your right, come to the center of your mat. Turn your toes. Wide legs. Good. I know we haven't done anything difficult, but you're working, right? Squeeze your feet. Nice. And then turn your toes out again, both feet, and do that little movement between those side lunges. So pick whichever side you want first, front or back. But try to keep your pelvis as level as you can, tailbone up. And then as you float back through center, again, the idea is not to try and push everything in the direction of the lunge, but to keep that feeling of center, of equilibrium, of being open to being able to move between one side to the other. Because that's what stays with us, right? That's the purpose or the idea of a yoga practice, is not that we can do this pose or that pose really well, but that we're able to stay in that state of moving between this position, that position. The openness is there in the body, flexibility in the mind. I'm willing to continuously adapt and change to what's here, not to what I want to be here, but what's here. Do not have to recreate the world in the image of what my mind wants it to be. But I can keep finding myself in that greater way that manages or is able to find the good in this world as it's happening. Good. And to be everything that you've always wanted to be in this world as it's happening. Nice, you guys. Find your way back to center. Turn the toes all the way forward again. Walk your hands forward in front of you into that wide-legged down dog. And again, exaggerate that lift of your tailbone up and back. So you might bend the knees here so that you can get that feeling of arching the lower spine just a little bit. Really get that tail up, send your groins back. Good. Nice. And then the low belly can draw in and up to take that excessive arch out of the back if necessary. Press into your hands. Nice, guys. Lift the back, the throat. Nice, Virginia. Good, Laura. Nice, Marla. And then walk your hands all the way back in. Take your hands to your hips, come up to stand. And then turn the left toes forward towards the front of your mat. Bend that knee, come into warrior two. Again, we have the sort of natural tendency, almost all of us, is because we're looking forward, we send our rib cage forward. And because we're lunging forward, we put all of our weight into that front foot. So straighten the front leg, put your weight into that back leg. Try to find that equilibrium. Stretch your arms up towards the sky. Get as tall as you can. Nice. And then the same feeling, right, of this line from your crown of your head down to your tail that's going straight between the thighs. Don't change that. Bend your left knee again back into warrior two, but keep that line of energy flowing straight down between the legs and stretch the arms out wide. Again, reaching equally in both directions. Good. If you haven't guessed it, my secret theme is your heart energy. So from the heart chakra, right, we have that understanding that all things that you can consider to be opposite, moving in opposition to each other, is all of them come into harmony through the heart. There's no such thing as right or left. There's just this expression. Pick any direction you want. It's the same expression. One more breath. Drop your groins lower, straight down, not forward. Good. And then cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Please spin that back heel up. Step forward, top of your back. Take both legs to straight and bow. Good. Again, taking your hands to the back of your ankles or calves. Good. Soften your knees just a little bit. Let the weight roll forward towards the balls of your feet and then press down into your heels to stretch the ankles. And then if you're holding the calves especially, squeeze towards the bone and pull up. Nice. And then scoop your belly, push your butt towards the sky to straighten your legs. You're never pushing back through your knees. You're just pulling your hips up. And however straight your legs come, that's straight. Good. Drop your head. Nice. And then release the hands, please. Roll yourself up the spine one vertebra at a time, noticing at what point you go back into that habit of blocking your knees. You're like, yeah, immediately as soon as you said. As soon as you said to straighten the leg, that's what I did. Good. Take your hands to your heart center, please. Feel that sternum lifting up towards your thumbs. Pull the elbows wide. Soften your knees again. So you bring your shins forward and then have that sensation again of the calf muscles pulling up as your groins go back. And now start to lift your armpits up towards the sky. Lift your heart up towards your thumbs and just start to tilt up and back like you're taking that back bend again. Keep the hands at the heart and keep rising up into your hands. So the elbows go back. So you have that feeling of the squeeze behind the heart and pull up. And now lean back, let your ribs move back in space. Yeah, and press into your heels. And press the tops of your thighs back, but bring those shins forward. Nice, heart up towards the sky. Up towards the sky, and then lean back, don't be afraid. Good. Tops of thighs back, lean back. Nice, keep going. Beautiful. And then navel to spine, come all the way back up. Good, you'll be doing drop backs in no time. Arms to the sky, deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward. If you don't know what a drop back is, don't worry. So if your right leg back behind you just enough so that your feet can come flat, Parsvottanasana. Use blocks underneath the hand if you'd like. Good, pushing into your feet again, drawing the hips up and back. And even here, you might bend your knees so that you can get your groins back, your tail to lift up and back just a little bit more. Good. And then once you've done that, you can re-engage the low belly and draw the thighs back, press into your heels. Beautiful. We often say that if you are in any particular, I say we, like I know Cheryl might say, I don't know if anybody else in the world says it, but we say it, that if you are in a yoga position and you feel like you can't change, right? I'm at my edge, or if I try to move anything, it's going to fall apart or something's going to break, then your pose is unbalanced, right? It needs a little help. So find here where you can be in this position, but still maintain that feeling that in any moment, the next moment, you're able to move from here, right? There's a movement forward, backwards, right and left. You're not locked here. One more deep breath, maybe coming up to your fingertips, lengthening the spine, drawing the heart forward as you draw those shoulders. And then exhale, bow deep again. Take that right hand to the floor inside that right foot. Keep a block underneath the hand. Like left hand comes to your low back. Good. Press your sacrum up into your hands. You have this sensation not of trying to yank yourself into a twist, but pulling your butt up and back. Send your sacrum up and back, tail back. Good. Now start to turn that right rib cage down. Good. Push into that right hand. And now start to turn that left armpit open. Like you're just trying to bring the left shoulder on top of the right. Draw your ribs in. And are you still pressing your sacrum up into your hand? And is your tail meeting the wall behind you? One more deep breath. Feel the breath wherever it can go. And then release the hands back down to the floor. Good. Bend your left knee. Step the right foot forward, top of your mat. Feet underneath your hips. Walk your hands up onto your thighs. Good. Keep the knees bent. Cat-cow your spine. Nice, guys. And we tend to shortchange the energy of the heart, thinking that it only comes into emotional things, but your heart is what's really driving every desire that you've ever had, right? Every true desire. Of course, there's the things where our brain is just like, I want. It's not a heart desire. Right? But anything you've ever truly wanted, right? Those passing sort of things where you say, oh, wouldn't that be great if my life looked like this? If I could have that, right? The heart's talking to you all the time. It's just a subtler language than what the mind brings. Come back to stillness, please. Release the hands to the floor, straighten the legs and bow. Hold opposite wrists or elbows. Hang the knees soften. Sway from side to side if like. It is classic this time of year in yoga speak, right? Because we translate everything in the Western world just to what makes sense to us. Is to take the idea of the sankalpa, right, and kind of weave it into where we already have that idea of a resolution or making a wish or a promise or a desire for the year. Sankalpa is a promise or a intention that comes directly from that heart center. So again, it's not something like this year I'm going to get a six pack, like, you know, not one of those. But it's really being able to tune into what the truest desires of the heart are. Release the hands down. Good. Step your left leg back behind you, please, just enough so that you can come into Parsvottanasana, so the feet come flat. Again, using blocks underneath the hands. Whatever your sankalpa is it's not something that, it's not a promise that we make with our mind to some version of ourselves, some future version of ourselves that we think will be happier if we accomplish whatever it is. But it's a promise made directly to and from the heart. And so it's a commitment, right? Even better than the word promise, it's a commitment to a way of being in the world or experiencing the world. Not so much goal driven. They say that when we make a sankalpa truly from that space of the heart, is that the energy of it becomes magnetic. Right? Because your heart energy is already far outside, right, the range of the body itself. The heart walks into the room way before the body does. It becomes magnetic, that whatever you place out into the world of that sankalpa, it's like a fishing line. You're already hooked. It starts to pull you to its own fruition. You start to say, well, I didn't ask for this or that or this other thing to happen, but it's the promise you made to yourself, creating the reality in the world. One more deep breath. Nice. And then come up on your fingertips just for a moment so you get that feeling of the shoulder blades drawing towards the hips. You get that idea, right? How do I lengthen my spine? Send your tail up and back. Good. And then bow deeply again. Plant that left hand inside the right foot. Use a block if you'd like. And then right hand comes up to your sacrum. Press your sacrum up into your hand. And again, send your tail up and back. It's going to feel almost like you're trying to arch that lower spine. You want to keep that sacrum as broad as you can and as long as you can. And then start to press into that left hand as you tuck that left rib cage under and let that right rib cage start to rise up. But keep pressing your sacrum up into your hands and pull your groins back. Secret to this pose is don't let your weight move forward. Draw everything back and suddenly you have balance, right? Some of you agree with me, some of you don't. Good, one more breath. Draw that breath into the back of the heart. And then release that hand back down to the floor, nice job. Go ahead and step yourself back to downward facing dog. Go ahead, drop down to hands and knees, please. Do a little hip circling if you'd like, or child's pose if you can. You have permission this time. And if you're doing hip circles, do that for a moment and then go ahead and find your child's pose when you're ready. Sometimes I really don't want you to do child's pose right away, and sometimes it's fine. We do our heart a disservice when we use the word sankalpa in place of something like resolution. They are not the same. You can decide in your mind the way that I should be. Try and hold yourself to that. Sankalpa is not the way it should be. A sankalpa is I have a commitment, making a commitment to myself to be or do, experience whatever those deep desires are. Walk your torso to the right, belly over the right thigh. So if you make a sankalpa, it should be something that you review every day, right? It's not I made it once and hopefully something will happen. That you put energy into it every single day. Walk yourself back to center, go to the left. That to me is that idea of commitment not being something that you have to hold yourself to like a gun to the back of your head. That commitment is that loving presence if I show up for it every day. Even when it's hard or I don't know why this is happening or how that's happening, I still show up. And I still show up optimistic. That whatever is unfolding is I know that it is the path to that fulfillment. Walk yourself back to center because guess what? The fulfillment doesn't come from the actions. Fulfillment comes from you. You already are fulfilled. It's just you remembering. Walk yourself back up onto hands and knees, please. Downward facing dog. Good. When you're down dog, take your right ankle over your left knee, please, or over your left thigh, and then bend that left knee block so you're crossing your chair, reach your butt back. And again, tail sweeps up and back into that diagonal. Good. So that tail sweeps up and back. Yeah, you get as long as you can in your spine and then scoop into that low belly to just give a little support to the lower spine. Bend that left knee a lot. Yes, there it is. Good. Now lift the back of your throat and relax your jaw. Excellent. And then unwind right leg up to the sky, down dog split. Beautiful. And then step that foot forward between the hands, please lunge. Good. Inhale the arms to the sky, high lunge. Deep breath in. And then hands come down to the heart center. As the hands come down, the chest lifts higher. Prayer twist, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Good. You can always use the hand if the elbow is not hooking today. Beautiful. Kick that back thigh up a little higher. And then as you press your hands together, soften that left rib cage down. Lift that right armpit. Draw your throat back. And pull your heart towards your thumbs. Good. Stretch that right arm up to the sky, reaching just a little bit longer. Let your twist get more open because you've reached up. And then bend that right elbow back like you're coming into that half cactus arms. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Draw the shoulder blade onto the back. Excellent. And then stretch that right arm back up to the sky. Release it back to that prayer twist. Unwind, hands to the floor. You got it. And then go ahead and step back to downward facing dog. Yeah, that was it. Come forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly. Rise up into cobra, yay. Good. And then exhale, please, downward facing dog. Nice, you guys. In your down dog, left ankle over right thigh, please. Bend your right knee a lot. Coming into that cross-legged down dog. Good. Send your butt up and back. And bend that right knee a lot and pull it forward. So again, you get getting into that softening of the joints, groins, the knee, the hip, your ankles. Lift the back of your throat. Good. Keep the arms awake here. Beautiful. Excellent, you guys. One more breath, drop lower. Pull that knee forward. Yeah, and then unwind, take that left leg up and back behind you into down dog split. Good, don't let the ribs fall. And then step that left foot forward between the hands. Good, arms to the sky, deep breath. Good, if you focus on the breath instead of the lunge, it's easier. And then hands to heart center, please. Chest gets higher as the hands come down. Find that twist, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. And as you're twisting, keep that back thigh up higher, push your right hip wider. So again, all the energy doesn't go forward just because your torso is forward. Pull back and pull wide. And then as you press into your hands, tuck that right rib cage under to lift your heart up higher and let your throat move back. Good. Left arm reaches to the sky. As you unwind or open, then you can reach that chest open just a little bit more. And then bend the elbow wide with that cactus arm, pulling the shoulder blade down onto the back. Again, chest opens, throat back. Nice. And then release that arm back up to straight. Take the hand back to the left hand or the right hand, back to that prayer. And then unwind your hands down to the floor. Nice job. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Slide forward, plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow to your belly. Rise up into cobra. Good. Exhale, release, come back, child's pose. Come through dog if you'd like first. Nice job. Find your breath, maybe bending the elbows wide, making a pillow with your hands, having the arms extended feels good. Your toes wide. The hardest thing that there is for us to do is not to try to change or accept change, is just be committed. To really understand commitment is something that is not restricting us in a negative way. That commitment is an ongoing expression of care, an ongoing expression of love. We talk about the unconditionedness of the heart, or how much we maybe all desire unconditional love, but when it comes time for us to offer something unconditionally, we're like, no, that sounds like too much work. I'm afraid of the work. I'm afraid of what I'll lose if I keep giving. Come back to that openness of just being optimistic. You don't have to think so much about the conditions, what might happen, what might not happen. It's the heart's nature to give, to be expansive. Stay committed to that. Whatever the form that it takes is, let that be something that's pleasant, not just to your heart, but also to your mind. Deep commitment doesn't have to be uncomfortable. More deep breath. And then go ahead and walk yourself all the way back up. Nice. One more back bend, so come up into a high kneeling position. Spoiler alert, it's camel. Good. Use a blanket underneath your knees if you'd like. Use a block between the thighs if you'd like, or even better if you have two blocks. One of my favorite ways to do camel is actually to do it with blocks underneath the hands instead of reaching for the feet to use blocks. That's up to you. Use whatever you'd like. Good. So coming all the way up. Beginning, if you're using your blocks, you can just place them alongside your feet or alongside your ankles, knowing that you will reach for them eventually. But start with your hands at heart center. Good. So you're pressing down into your shins, down into your feet, whether your toes are tucked or untucked, doesn't matter. You're pressing down. And then you're lifting up. So get that feeling of getting as vertical through your pelvis as you can. Draw up through the front of your hip bones. Drop your tail. And then draw the low rib cage back and in. Draw that navel in and up. Soften the ribs. And then widen those elbows. Good. Try to maintain this, again, vertical feeling of crown of the head to tail stays connected. And now start to lift your sternum up towards the sky. Do that rotation of the shoulder blades. So that you're starting to find the back bend, but you're still pulling up through the tops of your thighs. And then just keep rotating, lifting the heart, lifting the heart, lifting the heart. Pull your elbows back. Good. As the elbows pull back and the chest lifts up, you're still lifting through the tops of your thighs. Now let yourself lean back, because that's going to give you more availability to pull your heart to the sky. Good. Squeeze the elbows back and wide. Keep lifting through the tops of your thighs. And lean back and lean back and lean back, and then pull your heart up towards the sky. Navel in. And keep lifting your heart towards the sky. And then at the last minute, if you want to let your hands drape down to find your heels or your blocks, go ahead and let them. Or you can just let the arms hang. But never stop pulling your heart to the sky or pulling up through the tops of your thighs. Good. Heart keeps lifting up. Beautiful. Nice, Laura. Nice, Virginia. Got it, Mark. I almost called you Margie. Sorry, Marla. Come all the way back up. Navel to spine. Beautiful. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Go ahead and drop your hips down to your heels. And let the forehead come forward, letting the spine just drape over the thighs. Breathe into the back body. Find camel to be a very different thing if the first cue isn't reach back for your feet. Doesn't matter if you find your feet. Okay, that's our challenge, right? As we look for that solid condition of, if I do this, or if nothing else, I didn't fail. Charity Kala, can you look for that optimism that no matter what is occurring, you have that sense of openness to it, commitment to it. Optimism, there's something here that is good. Roll up onto the crown of the head, please, letting the hands continue to hold the ankles or the feet. If you choose, just rolling up onto the top of the head, lifting the hips, rounding into your spine. If you're seated and you want to do just a little gentle pat and cow, if that feels better, certainly do that. Good. Then slowly release the hips back down towards your heels. Nice job. Come back up into that high kneeling position, please, everybody. Lift your hips up off of your heels. Tuck your toes under. Yep. And then with no tears, just bring your hips back onto your heels with your toes tucked. Yeah, the toes tucked. So the big toe stretch, big ankle stretch. Stretch your arms out wide, letter T. Right arm over left, wrap the arms into eagle arms to distract yourself. Good. Draw up through the tops of your thigh bones as much as you can, up through those hip bones. Let your hips find your heels as much as stretch the arms out wide. Switch the arms, take the other arm on top. I know if you do it perfectly, you can come out of this. Okay. Good. And then slowly release the arms, slowly release, take the hips up off of the toes. Nice job. And then go ahead and come to sit on your butt. Bring the legs out in front of you. Bottoms of the feet come together, Baddha Konasana. Make your diamond of your legs nice and long, so don't pull the heels all the way in. Use a blanket underneath your feet if you'd like. So again, that feeling of, can I draw my groins back and get that vertical feeling, crown over tail. Good. And then walk yourself forward. If you'd like that variation to place your forearms underneath your shins, it's a great one to give support. But if that arm position does not serve you, then any arm position is like. The shoulders relax away from the ears. Nice. Again, I'm not giving you a lot of cues to try and lengthen the spine here because you've done a lot of back bending. Just breathe as wide as you can into that space behind the heart and into that space behind the sacrum. Subtle body we talk a lot about in different physical locations where the prana is moving, how the prana is moving. Whether it's flowing up, flowing down, right, left, circulating. It's lovely to know that in any particular place you can look at it and try and decide this is the way it should be going. But that in the wholeness of you is that the energy moves every way. So the beauty of the heart is it's two, the symbol of it is two interlocking triangles, one going up, one coming down. And it doesn't matter which way you are trying to go, you're going to end up moving through the heart. That optimism, can we just be open all directions to whatever is here? We make our commitment to the world, make our commitment to ourselves from that heart-centered place. I don't need to recreate the world to be what I want it to be. I can, in fact, find what's good right here and right now that serves my greatest desires. Take one more breath, make your pelvis get a little heavier. And then slowly unwind all the way back up. Nice. Stretch your legs out and wide. Again, using a blanket underneath your seat here if you'd like. If you didn't like one Veronica Konasana, but you want one here, guess what? You're allowed to change your mind. And then take a little twist to your right, just moving the belly towards that right leg, framing the right leg with your hand, and then walk forward, forward, fold. And as you fold forward, keep that left hip pressing down to the floor. Let your waist turn just a little bit more from that top of that left hip, spin your waist towards that right thigh. And then come all the way back up. Move through center, and then start to turn yourself towards that left leg, again, sitting up as tall as you can, framing the leg with your hands. And then as you walk forward over the left thigh, press that right hip down to the floor. The more you press down through that right butt cheek, probably the more sensation you're going to get on your side waist. That's what you want. So focus not on how low you can go over the left leg, but how much you can press down right. And then slowly walk yourself all the way back up. Really good, you guys. Your special treat to finish. Come to legs up the wall. You have a wall. If you don't have a wall, sorry. You don't have a wall, you can come into bridge pose with a block underneath your sacrum. You can come into supine Baddha Konasana. If you have a bolster, you can lay over the bolster. You want to put a bolster under your butt with your legs up a wall and then come into Uttanasana. You can do all three. Get wild. It's New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve. That's right. Get wild with your Shavasana. If your corpse goes, you're not there yet. Relax your arms. Whatever our constitution is we will bring that into anything and everything that we do. So I can laugh because it's my own experience of being very pitta, that in a restorative pose, what used to happen is my brain would be like, am I doing it right? Am I relaxing enough? So can you let yourself just really experience what it's like to fall into the floor? Everyone's eyes are closed, so it's okay if your mouth opens and if you drool a little bit. Okay as if you let go of that grip on your mind and it starts to wander into places where you think that you wouldn't want anyone to know that that's where it's wandering. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you can let go of your grip. And that those feelings of judgment or shame or trying to condition yourself to be this way or that way, is that that can become softer, more open. While we are distracted staring at the conversation of the mind, as the heart speaks and it goes unnoticed. Can you listen for your heartbeat? Feel for it. And if that's very difficult to do, maybe place a hand over the heart so you can actually feel it. And can you let yourself feel for those true desires? True desires of the heart that you would be willing to commit yourself to. And those true desires won't have a probably specification of what your job should look like or what your body should look like. Heart doesn't speak a language of conditions. It speaks the language of what truly fulfills. In all the small ways and big ways the heart speaks, can you listen? Just a couple more breaths here. And then begin to draw the knees back in towards the chest. Roll to either side so that you can move yourself away from the wall. Going to lie on your backs, legs extended. Actually, as you come onto your back, make sure you can extend your legs, but then please bend your knees. If you're in the room with me, heads continue to face center. Once you've found your way onto your back, bend your knees, please. And take the right ankle over the left thigh, lift the left shin parallel to the floor, reach through to hold. And again, you can always let the legs hold themselves and relax the arms if you choose. Slowly release the legs and switch, please. Left ankle over right thigh. Lifting that shin, reach through to hold. Nice. And then slowly release, please, planting both feet with the knees bent. Take your arms alongside you, palms facing down. You can bend the elbows if you'd like. Doing one bridge pose as you press down through the arms or the upper back, the upper shoulders. Press into your feet, let the hips rise up. From the back of your heart, feel that lift, the armpits. So once the hips have found their lift, and you continue to lift from the heart. Don't keep pushing just through your hips, but find that heart space rising. And stay with it. Soften the groins down, but lift the heart. Lengthen your throat, relax your jaw. The difference between lifting the heart, thinking I've got to get it as high as I can go, and lifting the heart and saying, can I stay open and free with my heart lifted? It's how much you relax. Slowly begin to release the hips back down to the floor, releasing the back of the heart. Pause with the knees bent, just let the spine settle. And allow the arms to come alongside you, palms up. And stretch the legs out in front of you. Find your Shavasana. You need a final spinal twist, feel free to take it. And again, how much can you allow the floor to hold you? How much can you let go of your grip and allow your experience of here and now to become very wide, become unconditioned, that you're not trying to hold everything together. To be immersed in the moment, in something very big. That holds you with that same tenderness of that heart energy. Very gently bring the awareness back to the breath. The body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. As you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Drawing the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. And allowing the thumbs to touch the sternum, the elbows to go wide. For your mind to settle on this place, the crossroads. All directions that things can go, might go, will go. It will always pass through the heart. And if you think, right, the crossroads, this is where all the roads come to meet. Remember that this is also the place where everything in your life has extended from the very beginning. You're not building this life from your mind, you're building it from your heart. So to listen to that inner language of those deep desires and to be committed to living your life from that heart space. Maybe try that instead of giving yourself a lot of goals to be disappointed about. Just give yourself the commitment to be optimistic about whatever is unfolding. So that what we're running through our mind all the time is that energy of the heart that says, I believe that all of this is beneficial, because it is. And I can always see the good that is happening this moment. And if it's not, doesn't seem like it's an outside thing, I feel the good that's running through me this moment. And I am committed to that. Deep breath in for Om. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, rest of your night. Happy New Year. Enjoy. Cacao ceremony tonight with Cheryl. If you'd like, you can still, I think, sign up for that. And then tomorrow there is no class in the morning, but I will be teaching in the afternoon from 2 to 4 with Dave Miller. So doing some asana and then followed by a gong bath and meditation. So if you are interested in that for tomorrow, it's from 2 to 4. So you have plenty of time to be lazy in the morning and then, do a little something in the afternoon. Have a good day, you guys.
Happy New Year. Happy and healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, be well.
Thank you.